Warning: this episode includes discussions of sexual inappropriateness and personal safety. Listener discretion is advised.
What is a family secret?
What happens in his house stays in his house. And that teaches members to avoid conflict instead of addressing it.
But we hide those things to protect not just that family member, but more so ourselves.
One of the worst things you can say to somebody when they reveal something to you or when they disclose something to you is, well, why you just now saying something? Or why you ain't say something before? Well, I'm saying something now. Hey, welcome to the Trigger Happy Hour where we take shots of the truth straight with no chase.
It's your host that do the most, Daquana Darnisha, and get ready as we dive deep, laugh loud, and unpack triggers you've been dodging.
Buckle up, y'all, because healing ain't always pretty,
but it's always real.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl Darnisha, licensed mental health counselor, mommy of two. I like to give it to you straight with no chase, but sometimes I got to put a little sugar on the rim to ease it on down. But either way it go, y'all already know. I'm going to give it to y'all 100 proof, truth.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Daquan. I'm here for all the weather, bring you the wind, the sun, the rain, and the storm, baby. But mostly, I like to just sprinkle a little sunshine to help you get through the day. Today's episode is a topic that many of us know too well, but rarely talk about openly at that. And that's family secrets.
Yes. But before we get started, we're going to start off a little light. We got a little icebreaker per usual. And so we're going to call this one, let's rate it. So Decline, on a scale from surviving to thriving, where are you today?
Making it.
So you not thriving and you ain't struggle busting it, but you just like, I'm making it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I had when I just did that pause and making it, I thought about Fifth Element. I know you don't remember it because it's you, but
shade.
It was. It was one part where Chris Tucker was asking Corbin Dallas, how's he feeling? And he said, swell, one word, that's all. I'm making it. I am making it. But needless to say, how about you? What would you rate it?
You will be proud of me. I feel like from, what do we say, surviving to thriving, I'm not thriving, but I'm thriving. Yeah, I'm thriving. Like I said, you'll be proud of me because your girl been, I ain't gonna say working out, I've been going for walks outside.
Okay, I take
letting that fresh air hit my face in the morning. Also, I know I had talked to you about my insecurities about my weight and things of that nature. So when I went to my annual doctor's appointment, she was like, how's everything going? Do you have any issues? I said, yep, I'm fat. So she prescribed me what do you call it? Appetite suppressant.
Okay. I was about to say not Ozempic.
No, sometimes no, an appetite suppressant. So I'm not as hungry. And so it's kind of teaching me to be more strict with my diet and to be more mindful of my intake. And the food don't even taste the same. So I don't have a problem eating things that I'm not craving. Like the cravings are bare minimum. So sometimes you just need a little help. And for the longest, I don't want to get on no shot. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But look, I needed a little boost. That metabolism ain't like it used to be. And so I feel like I'm on a good track and I feel good.
I am very, 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 very proud. I had to put that extra very on there because, girl, let me ask you, how have you been feeling with the walks? Have you seen a change in your mood or anything?
Definitely. I feel more energized. Normally, after I get my daughter on the bus, because she has to be on the bus at 6:50 in the morning, I lay back down. But here lately, I put her on the bus. I put on my little stretch pants, jogging pants, whatever. I put my little weighted vest on, and then I go for my walk. And by the time by the time I come home and I shower up, I'm not sleepy no more. So I'm not getting into that lazy mode. I just start like prepping my breakfast or my lunch. Not breakfast, I don't eat breakfast, but I start prepping my lunch for work and I feel more energized. And then by the end of the night, I can get a good night's rest. However, I did have insomnia for the first 2 to 3 nights. So it was a struggle. But I ended up taking some melatonin and then the rest is history. So
Okay, I like to hear that. Well, just before you give our little disclaimer, I want to say you will be proud of me too. I got a second therapist to help me out with my other issues. And yeah, and I just seen my psychiatrist again on Saturday. So trying to find that perfect combination of medication and psychotherapy at the same time. There's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with having more than one therapist, baby, because one can help
Uh-uh.
you with one thing and the other one can help you with another. And I just don't feel like starting all the way over with somebody else new. So I'm going to start where I need to pick up.
So I know that's right. And so I hear Daquan, he's taking care of his mental health. I'm over here trying to take care of my physical health. And we want y'all to do the same.
Mhm.
So in the meantime, we want y'all to think about how was your day today on a scale from surviving to thriving. Take a moment and reflect on that.
And while you reflecting, go ahead and hit them with our little good old disclaimer.
All right, y'all. So this is not a substitution for therapy. We are just a sounding board. If now this episode is probably a little bit heavy, so if at any reason you starting to feel triggered, feel free to walk away, come back, pause the episode, or if you just don't even want to listen no more, that's okay too because your mental health is our priority. But again, if you need professional help, please seek a professional therapist, psychiatrist. You can find one on Psychology Today. You can find one in your local searches on Google or
Right.
you can simply call 988 or utilize your EAP services through your employer.
So let's start here. What is a family secret?
Well, a family secret can be anything intentionally hidden or avoided affairs, addiction, trauma, financial struggles, even unspoken tensions. Sometimes it's not what was said, it's what was never said at all.
And the tricky part is even when no one talks about it, people still feel it.
Yes. And kids, they especially can pick up on that energy. They may not know all the details, but they definitely know that something is off. And I think
Mhm.
we all have been affected by some type of family secret in one way or another. So, Daquan, do you have any family secrets that affected you growing up?
Girl, I was the family secret. What are you talking about?
You what? So wait, hold on. So you wait. You is the birthday. You
I
heard of
is the
that little
birthday.
trend? You the main attraction.
And no, I never
What's
heard that trend.
Lord, okay, okay, my bad. I'm a
I'm not
TikToker.
social.
Hold on. So how were you the family secret?
Well, child. So I was a family secret because on my father's side of the family, nobody knew that my father had another child. Yeah, girl. I didn't find out who my father was until I was 20. Now, mind you, my cousin is the one that saw me and said, "Oh, you look just like my uncle."
Mhm.
And so it all started from there. And so she got in contact with me through MySpace, telling my age. And so that's how we connected. And then after that, I asked my mom a question. She answered it. Then I went about my life, right? It wasn't until years later that me and my brother got in contact and started having communication and started saying, "Yo, man, I feel like you're my brother." I'm like, "Yo, I feel like you're my brother too." Because I
Mhm.
had posted a picture. I had just got my glasses and this one particular day, I was on the bus and took a picture. I just snapped a regular picture. Baby, when I go back and look at the picture now, baby, I look just like Raymond. That's
Mhm.
my father. Was my father. I look just like him. So I can see now why my brother said, "Yo, dog, you look like my pops," because I was that family secret.
Yeah. So I heard you say that you didn't find out about who your father was until you were 20 years old. So I do have some questions. I can't even imagine what you were going through and what the thoughts were that were going through your head at that time when it was revealed to you. Did you have any inclination? Like, did you ever ask your mom about who your dad was?
Yeah, I had asked her back in, think I'm not mistaken, I had to be in my senior year. No, I was in 11th grade when I decided to ask. And she had told me no, because I feel like she wasn't willing to have that conversation with me over the phone. If I'm going to rationalize it, I feel like it was only fair for her to have that with me face to face. Because
Mhm.
when I did end up talking to her about it, years later, she was like, "You ready to have a talk?" Girl, what? Yeah, I know what you've been doing. Girl, what? Her and my father knew some type of way that me and my brother was in communications with each other. And one day, me and my brother was talking, and he gave me my dad's number, right? Our father's number. And I decided to call him. Now he had two phones. He had a cell phone, regular cell phone, work phone. And so I called him, didn't answer. I got in contact with my brother. I was like, "Yo, this didn't even answer." He said, "Yeah, dog, he's like that too." So I'm like, okay. But The interesting thing was when I first got on the phone with him, I was dog pissed.
Mhm.
All those emotions, mad, angry, upset, especially knowing that you was right around the corner from me.
Mhm.
Like, every time I would visit New York, and sometimes he'll come to New York, he used to drive to New York, and, "Nigga, you ain't try to find your son? I know you had a son." But, yeah, it didn't happen like that, but I was so angry, and what broke me was he made me laugh. After he made me laugh, all the emotions started going away a little bit, and then I started to hear what he was saying. Because at that moment, I was listening to him, but I was so upset. So many emotions was going on. And I think just as tough it was for me to be on the phone, it was even tougher for him to be on the phone.
Right.
Because I remember after I had that conversation with my mom, I know she walked away and she called him on the phone. And I heard her as she was walking down the hallway say, "All right, you ready?"
She said that to him?
Uh huh.
Mhm.
And so I feel like he was very nervous. But and all in all, before he died, my cousin had told me that my father was very happy that he was able to meet me and all his kids was present.
Mhm.
So that right there hit me even harder because I lost him 9 months after finding out who he was. Actually, 9 months
Oh,
after talking to him on the phone.
shut
Literally, April
up.
17th was the day I talked to him on the phone, and January 17th the following year, he died.
Did you ever have the opportunity to spend any time with him?
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
Like, the last text message I remember getting, and I haven't picked up my bass because he was a bad bass player from what I was told.
Mhm.
And so I always wanted to learn how to play the bass. That was before he ever came into my life. So I was already me and him was so connected on so many levels. It's crazy. From the culinary aspect, he always wanted to be a chef, and I went to school to be a chef. Like I said, just even our music taste, we were so entwined. But the last message that I woke up to him sending me that following Tuesday, because I was supposed to go up there to see them that weekend, was that, "Hey, next time you come up here, I'm gonna get you a bass." I remember it kind of verbatim, but I remember he was like, "When you come up here, we're gonna go to the store and pick out a guitar for you. And I know that you're going to be a bad bass player than I could ever be." Those was
Mm.
his last words to me. Now, did I actually pick up the bass? No. Because after I got my bass, I looked in the mirror and I just couldn't do it because I looked so much like
I can imagine that so many emotions went through you throughout that whole period, reflecting on your upbringing and his lack of presence.
you know
Did
what's
you
I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
say what's crazy is when I was younger, probably like 8 or 9, I always said, "I don't care about that nigga. I don't wanna know who he is." But I did always want to know who my family was. So I was always open to and willingly to want to meet my other family. But at
Right.
that moment when I was speaking, I was like I said, I was young. I didn't want any parts of him because I felt like he abandoned or I don't know what I was feeling at that moment. I just know I didn't have a father present, but I had a lot
Mhm.
of father figures in my life. My great grandfather, my stepfather, well, my sister's father, and my grandfather. So I had prominent men in my life that was there to show me the way, especially taught me right from wrong.
Mhm. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that story. So, with that story being in mind, I can resonate with it well because one of our family secrets was a sister that was unknown to us until I think she turned 21. Her mom told her who her father was on her first birthday. And as a sibling of someone who was very close with my
Mm,
my other siblings, I felt robbed.
mm, I can see that.
So
Yeah.
and I can't even imagine again how you felt, how she felt. I know it had to be so many mixed emotions.
Mm,
But like on the opposite end of that, I definitely felt robbed because my dad was like I ain't not 13, I'm exaggerating, but it's a lot of us.
mm.
And I'm in my mind, I'm like, what's one more kid? What's one more kid?
You already
And I
had
was
enough.
so yeah, and I was crying and I'm upset. And me and this sister are really close. And so now, current date or whatever, but
Mhm,
it just really bothered me. And so I don't know if I asked my dad why he never said anything or whatever. I don't even know if the why matters. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? It just hurt because there was this absence. And
mm.
so when I'm thinking about the opportunities or the memories that could have been made with my sibling, did you ever feel any of that?
A little bit, but I think all in all, I wasn't too much of a because I was still in contact with my family, but I just didn't know they was my family.
Mhm. Small town.
It's a small church, okay?
Oh.
We went to me and my at the time, I don't talk to her no more, but she's my cousin or whatever, whatever. Out of all the young folks, people out of, in the church, I got close with her. I got close with my cousin Ashley and Javon. I I do kind of feel like I was robbed from being around of course, my siblings, just for the simple fact it was so many years that we was apart from each other, and I didn't even get to know who they are. Thankfully, we all have a great relationship now because y'all hear the lovely beats that's on this podcast that came from my brother. Shout out to my brother Eric. So, needless to say,
Oh,
we
that
have
was
it.
your brother that did that? So, okay, so Eric, he created the instrumental for our intro,
Mhm,
and when we do the affirmation of the day, that little boom, boom,
mhm.
boom. Shout out
Yeah.
to Eric.
Yeah. Thank you, bro, 'cause, I'm gonna definitely be hitting you up later, so but yeah, so and me and him, which is crazy on another end, he always wanted a older brother, and I always wanted a younger brother.
That's dope.
It was real dope and real scary because I'm like, "Wow, the odds are you wanted a older brother, which you got, now I always wanted a younger brother, which I got." So it's amazing.
My household, you heard the saying, "What happens in this house stays in this house."
Mhm,
So a situation would arise, and then nobody would talk about it. Nobody would talk about it. A lot of stuff I didn't learn until I went to school and I was in health class
mhm,
and things of that nature. But I grew up in the era of hide and go get it, where you're chasing your peers around, y'all babies practically. I would say starting at 6 years old. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, my daughter's 7. I can't even imagine. Right. I can't even imagine any of that going on, but chasing each other, kissing, dry humping, all that other stuff. So at a very young age, having these sleepovers, we were doing some exploratory things.
mhm,
And you don't realize that it's not right because you're thinking it's another kid, it's okay. Because you
mhm,
might learn, okay, if an uncle touch you or if such and such touch you or if an adult is inappropriate with you, then you let somebody know. But nobody
mhm,
said if a kid is inappropriate with you, you need to speak up as well.
mhm,
Even nowadays, if a child come to me and say, "Hey, this is going on," and then I call DCS, they're going to consider it
mhm,
exploratory when it's two
mhm,
children.
mhm,
And so I felt like that affected me growing up because I was so young that it was hard for me in romantic relationships.
mhm.
So that part of my childhood took a toll on me in my adult years because of the things that I saw. I remember seeing back in the day they had the magazines, and my cousin had bunches of them in my grandma's basement. And I remember going through those, looking through those magazines and stuff, seeing things I didn't even know what I was looking at. And
Okay.
then as a kid, you just know, well, this feel good, but it ain't right. So again, talk to your children about things like that. What
Mm,
happens in this house stays in this house is not healthy because what I learned to do was just brush things under the rug, and I didn't learn how to deal with things face on, or
mm,
I learned how to ignore things.
mhm,
And so I just wish, thinking back when my son was old enough. So funny story. So he used to spend the summers in Michigan with his father, and as early as I would say two and a half, I was giving him a speech. I'm like, all
mhm,
right, you about to go to Michigan and better not nobody touch you on your and better not nobody touch you here.
mhm,
Right. And so his dad ended up calling. His dad was like, "Hey son, you ready to come to Michigan?" Trey son, like, yeah. And better not nobody touch me on my penis. And better not nobody touch me on my butt. And his dad was like, what? And I grabbed the phone and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was giving him the good touch, bad touch talk. But you got to start having these conversations with these kids early
Yeah, you do.
because they doing these sleepovers with their friends and their cousins and things like that. And you just got to have these conversations with them and let them know. And kids, if y'all even listening, let your parents know when something is not
Mhm.
right.
Yes, please do. Please do. Please don't let nobody touch you on your no-no parts.
No, no parts.
That's what I used to say all the time. Mommy told me to tell you not to touch my no-no parts. And so That is true as far as the young kids still messing around because
Mhm.
they don't know what's going on. They just know, like you stated, that it feels right. And so, since it feels right, that means it must be okay. It's not
Mhm.
okay because, yes, when a adult or a older somebody touches you, that's wrong. Even when a kid touches you, it's wrong because nobody should be touching you in those spaces.
Right. Yeah, I'm hyper vigilant. Now my niece and her friend, they was down here visiting. They was in the room, the door closed. I'm looking at her mom. I'm like, hey, they upstairs with the door closed. Do we need to open up that door?
not you a snitch.
Man, I'm like, hey, hey, you need to go check on them. Go, you know. But I'm hyper vigilant now because that was me.
We are now learning that everything stemmed from our childhood.
Yeah.
As you stated, you're hyper vigilant. Why? Because you learned that from your childhood. So we
Right.
have to be careful on how we talk to kids and reprimand them because we don't want to make them feel shameful or none of
Mhm.
those things. So that's very important. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and segue into why do families keep secrets? Families keep secrets for many reasons: shame, guilt, fear of judgment, or even the desire to protect others from pain. Cultural and generational values also play a role. What one generation sees as private, another might see as a harmful silence.
Yes, yes. So, like Daquan said, it's plenty of reasons why the secret is kept.
Mhm,
Because they're ashamed. Don't tell grandma or
mhm,
don't go over here running your mouth because the embarrassment that's there or
mhm,
that guilt behind it, that fear
mhm,
of being judged. Let's
mhm,
just say somebody in your family has a gambling problem or an addiction problem. That's the
mhm.
secret. Everybody know that such auntie such and such in the family is a crackhead, but don't nobody really want to talk about it. But everybody know when auntie such and such walk in, oh, I'm gonna tuck mine in.
Okay.
You feel me? Hide your purse.
I wasn't even
Cause
going to go that route, but I
they
was going
got
to go
they
something
got a
else.
little thieving problem.
Okay. And let's not forget too, families that keep mental health a secret
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a
because
real good one.
now, like you stated, somebody might say, Uncle P ain't got all his screws there. Why? What is the actual diagnosis? Could it be
Mhm.
schizophrenia? Could it be schizoaffective disorder? Could it be bipolar? Even though it can be anything. I think we should not even shame, but we hide those things to protect not just that family member, but more so ourselves.
No, you said it right. They're ashamed. They're
Yeah.
embarrassed.
Yeah, correct. They are ashamed and embarrassed. And so that's why they also keep those secrets because they don't want nobody to know that that particular individual has a mental illness.
This is the thing to that though. That's like me keeping Denham's autism a secret. How is that beneficial? How is that helping you understand her? If a family member has a mental illness, if they have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, don't you think that's need to know information?
Very much so.
Because this person might be experiencing an episode and you didn't warn me.
Oh,
So I'm literally just thinking, oh, this person, you know how black people, oh, they possess. They got demons in them.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
just communicate. Hey, just FYI,
Mhm.
that's okay to communicate. It's all
Mhm.
right. There's no shame because again, this is not something that a person can control. This is
Right.
something outside of their control. When we talking about bipolar, schizophrenia, autism, things like they don't have any control over that. So let's make sure that we're educating the family and friends about what's going on.
Yes. We definitely got to educate because knowledge is power. We don't want to stay at the bottom. We want to rise to the top. But we also
Mhm.
got to bring awareness to mental health and let people know it's okay for you to have these disorders. It doesn't make you no different. Now, you may have to be on medication and go to treatment, but hey, you still alive, you still talking, you still breathing, you still walking, you're doing all the things that you need. As you stated earlier, when not telling people about the family member that has the mental disorder, like you said, they can have an episode. Prime example, my cousin, at the time, I didn't know what schizophrenia was when I was little. All I know was that man was walking down the street, always laughing and talking to himself and laughing out loud. Like
Mhm.
whatever it was funny as I don't know what. But I didn't know that. But obviously he was hearing voices in his head and nobody said that. So it's important for us to realize how much mental health is important. I'm so glad we're not back in the 90s where we wasn't educated or woke enough to
Mhm.
realize these things that's happening in the world today.
Right. So keeping family secrets definitely has an impact, right? We're going to dive into that because secrets don't just stay hidden, they leave an emotional imprint. Those emotional imprints stay with you, even though it's not being talked about. And I might have suppressed some of those memories. There is something that may or may not happen that might trigger that emotional response in you and remind you of that secret that you vowed to keep back in the day. Secrets have their little ways of showing up. And the
Mhm,
person holding that secret, they carry that weight, often in silence. Also, that communication and trust can break down when others sense that something is being withheld. Like they know you got a secret. Now, okay, you keeping this from me. And I see this a lot between spouses, husband and wife. I know something about one of the kids,
mhm,
but I don't want to tell you about it. What you think gonna happen when that spouse finds out and they knew that you knew, but you didn't communicate that? That trust is broken,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So then children, they might feel confused or anxious because they picking up on attention without even knowing the cause. Y'all think y'all hiding it. Y'all think y'all arguing in private. Oh
mhm,
no, they can pick up on energy. My daughter can pick up on my energy. And then this can lead to the kids self-blaming or the sense of them feeling like they gotta walk on eggshells. Well,
mhm,
they arguing because of me. It's my fault.
mhm,
Going back to that husband and wife example of keeping a secret. Now the wife then found out you didn't kept the secret from her. Now y'all going back and forth, and the child feel like, dang, if it weren't for me, they wouldn't even be in there arguing, right? Over time, though, the silence itself can become part of the family dynamic.
yeah,
Just like I mentioned earlier, where that's I learned, okay, what happens in this house stays in this house.
mhm,
And that teaches members to avoid conflict instead of addressing it. I always say in my couple sessions, when they say, well, we don't try to argue in front of the kids. No, it's okay to
mhm,
have healthy arguments in front of the kids because I also want you to teach those kids how to have healthy solutions, a healthy resolve,
and effective communication.
effective communication because they can't go through life thinking, oh, my mom and dad, they always agreed because that's
Mhm,
not realistic and it's not true. Let them see you disagree
mhm,
and let them see you come to a common consensus, even if it's let's agree to disagree.
mhm,
But let your children see those healthy ways of communicating.
mhm. And like, of course, as you know, as we talk about arguing and things like that, as she stated, make sure it's a healthy argument. No low blows will be taken out, and we also want to be careful of making sure that when we get that upset, show the kids also, hey, it's okay for us to parking lot this for a good 15 minutes. Let us cool down and come back and try to find a solution.
Mhm.
Because again, believe it or not, kids pick up on a lot of things. When you don't think they paying attention, baby, they paying attention.
Yeah.
Everything is showing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful.
Yeah. And finally, y'all, those secrets, they end up when they pass through generations like that, they can create legacies of mistrust,
Mhm,
anxiety, and trauma. Holding on to it can create anxiety. Cause
mhm.
you've been holding on to that secret for so long, for so many years, and it's like, dang, I need somebody to talk to about it. It's killing me inside.
And you know, it's funny because there are certain people in the family that will keep that secret till the day that they die.
To this day.
You know, but we also got to realize how much that impact is dealing on that person as well, because that it's such a secret. Have you ever have a secret that was eating up at you? No matter how big or small it was, you want to be like, "Oh, I want to tell this person this so bad, but I
Hmm.
can't." Just think of that as the person that's keeping that secret. They have something inside of them that's eating up at 'em. So,
Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm my
no, go
bad.
ahead.
I was gonna say I know that ain't my mama, cause she can't keep a secret for my sister has. My sister called me and said I had told my mama this, and I told her not to say nothing. I said I guarantee you, my mom is going to call me and tell me what you told her. It wasn't 24 hours that passed. Mama said, "Girl, I can't wait till you hear this." And it was,
Baby
I was
Victoria can't
like,
keep a secret now.
Victoria cannot keep a secret. I said, dang, you got a big mouth. But her mama had it. My grandma had a big, we called her news five because she knew everybody's business and she told it too. But that's
Listen,
neither here nor there. Rest in
that's
peace,
my aunt.
grandma. Love you.
That's my aunt. Shout out to my auntie. That's her all the way. Baby, don't tell her nothing because best believe I'm going to find out because she's going to let me know. She said, "Hey, nephew, what's up, auntie?"
Now don't tell nobody.
Okay, baby, she
Did
don't care.
somebody tell you not to tell me?
Baby, she don't care. She's still
Oh,
gonna
she don't
tell,
care.
and she's gonna tell everybody out loud. Yup, I did.
Andy.
And that's why you don't tell her no secrets.
I like Auntie. She hold herself accountable. We love
Baby,
accountability around here in these streets.
she gets on my nerve. Yeah, on my nerve.
All right, Daquan. So what do we do when these secrets come out?
Ooh, when a secret is revealed, the impact can be powerful. Some people feel betrayed or angry, others feel relief. Then often there's grief, not just for the secret itself, but for the time lost or the trust broken. I'm going to just segue back into the time was lost for both of us not being able to spend time with our siblings because that was that secret.
That's a good example.
There
And the
also,
trust broken. What's an example of that trust being broken in
yeah,
that?
it definitely is because for you, it looked like you couldn't trust nobody or you couldn't trust somebody's word because, well, I had a whole another sibling that could have been right next door to me and I didn't even know nothing about it. So how am I
Mhm,
supposed to trust your word on anything that you're supposed to tell me
mm,
when you the one that knew about it?
mhm.
And
Yeah.
just like me, same thing can be said. I didn't even know again, family was right there.
So it's like you kept this secret this whole 20 years. You kept this secret from me this whole time.
And healing takes time. Some family members may be ready to talk right away, while others need more time. Rebuilding trust requires patience, honesty, and the willingness to sit with uncomfortable emotions. And I think a lot of us can talk about those uncomfortable emotions that y'all
Mhm.
try to avoid,
Yeah.
those difficult questions that you try, conversations that you want to have, but you avoid to have them because
Mhm.
they make you feel uncomfortable.
Right. And this is another thing. Once that secret is out, you can't control the outcome of it. One of the worst things you can say to somebody when they reveal something to you or when they disclose something to you is, "Well, why you just now saying something? Or why you ain't say something before?" Well, I'm
Mhm,
saying something now. I have the courage to say something now. I have the strength to say something now or to question the validity of what they are bringing to you.
mhm,
That's not fair as well
mhm,
because you don't know what it took for them to muster up the courage to even say something in the first place, knowing that, oh, it's a possibility somebody ain't gonna believe me. It's
mhm,
a possibility I'm gonna be shunned,
mhm,
right? And then on the opposite end of that, if you're the person that the secret is coming out about, you can't determine the outcome of that either, and you can't tell somebody how they should feel about your secret or how they should react to
mhm,
your
mhm.
secret because it's something that happened to them or it's something that they're going through. Right?
Yep.
So once it's out there, it's out there. We're going to give you guys some tools on what you can do once that secret is exposed and it affects you because it doesn't just affect, let's just say it's a friend group or it's a family, right? Let's
Mhm,
a family member. It don't just affect certain, it affects everybody. It
mhm,
affects those family gatherings
mhm,
because, oh, well, I don't want to be around such and such. Or I'm mad at, or we on the outs. So now, okay, well, who all over there? You heard that saying when you invite somebody somewhere, who all gonna be there? Who all over there?
mhm. I do it all the time.
Those secrets, they infect the entire family. That's why the whole saying, what happens in his house stays in his house. No, you need to teach
Mhm,
your children and your siblings and your family. Teach them right. Teach them wrong. Teach them healthy. Teach them toxic. Teach them what mental illnesses look like so that they can be aware. But again, when somebody reveals something to you, don't discredit what they're saying because they feel safe enough to come to you to say, "Hey, this happened to me." And you don't
mhm.
get to determine the outcome of that, and you don't get to determine how they feel about their secret.
And that is true. As you stated earlier, we're going to teach you some ways to kind of help you when those secrets do arise. And one of the therapeutic tools for healing that I always say, and what is that? Journaling. Let's journal our thoughts and try writing this. How did I first find out about the secret? What emotions came up for me? And what do I need in order to heal? Those would have been perfect for me during that time when I found out who
Mhm.
my father was. Those were
Yeah.
how did I first find out about the secret? What emotions? There was so many emotions that I was going through. And what do I need in order to heal? To help
Right.
me traject how the relationship with me and my father was gonna go.
And I think the reason for initially journaling is because you might not have the courage to talk to somebody
Mm,
about it. So
mhm.
if you journal it, it's a matter of release. It's
Yep,
getting it out.
yep.
So let me just write this down. Let me just get this out. I ain't got nobody talking back to me. I don't have nobody questioning me. I don't have nobody that I have to explain myself to. Because even in your situation, I don't know how the first interaction with you and your dad was, but I'm just saying, let's just say he was like, you were like, dang, why you just not coming around? Well, I'm here now. Because some people have that kind of
Mhm,
mindset. Well,
mhm,
yeah, I wasn't around. I'm here now. Now what?
mhm,
Like, no. So the journal for that is just getting it out. So you don't have to worry about anybody else's opinion.
mhm,
And then we're always going to recommend seeking professional help, helping you deal with that trauma.
mhm,
EMDR is therapy for traumatic experiences. If you're having ruminating thoughts about something that happened to you when you was younger, you might need talk therapy just might not be enough for you. You
mhm,
might need some brain spotting. You might need something a little bit more intense.
mhm,
But again, tools for healing when those secrets come out, journaling,
mhm,
seeking a therapist.
mhm.
You got any other tools you can think of?
I think the main ones we hit was journaling, so that way those ruminating thoughts are not always stuck in your head and it's gonna drive you crazy. Because how
Mhm.
many of us have been in a situation where, prime example, if we got in an argument and we think about, "I should have said this. If I would have
Yeah.
said this, then it would have been like that." You know what I'm saying? Those are the thoughts that just keep going over and over, and it's gonna make you either angry, more depressed, or any of those things. So instead of just keeping it in that head, write it out so that way you can get it out.
And they're not helpful. Those, saying the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. They aren't
Okay?
helpful at all.
Definitely not, because those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, well, baby, if they would have, you would have did it. Okay? But
Yeah.
you didn't. Your destined was the destiny that you took. So now we got to deal with the consequences. And instead of letting those negative thoughts stay in your head, go ahead and write them
Mhm.
out. And if you need to
Yeah.
burn them too. But the main factor is getting these things out. As you stated earlier, seeking professional help. There's nothing wrong with talking about what's going on. Why? And that's somebody that if you don't feel like you can talk to nobody within your family that kept the secret, a professional, they don't know you and they are paid to listen to you. So those are the things. Yeah. I can't think of anything else.
Okay. That's fair. Those are the two most important things.
Hmm.
Again, and show yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up for holding it in. Show
Okay.
yourself some grace because, again, those we talked about what is a secret? It's something that's intentionally hidden or avoided,
Hmm.
right? It was hidden on purpose. And sometimes you didn't even know that it was a secret that needed to be kept. So, again, do not beat yourself up for holding things in. I'm talking about it now. It's okay. All right. So, again, we talked about what is a secret, and that was anything hidden or avoided. That includes those affairs,
Hmm.
addiction, trauma, financial struggles, and even unspoken tension. Remember, sometimes it's not what's said, it's what's never
That's
said.
it. Hmm.
Right. And
Hmm.
then we went into the reason why families keep secrets: embarrassment, shame, guilt, fear of being judged, or trying to protect others. I know my brother is a drug addict, so I'm trying to protect his image because he has a good job or he got this going on.
Hmm.
So I'm hiding his cocaine addiction from
Hmm.
his wife. I'm hiding his cocaine addiction from the family
Hmm.
because I'm trying to protect my brother.
Yep. And then we also talked about the impact of family secrets, how secrets stay hidden and they can leave an emotional imprint on you. Then we also talked about what to do when secrets come out. Also, remember, healing takes time.
Mhm.
So you have family members that are not ready to talk right away, and some that just need more time, and which is fair and logical. Too much time don't need to pass because then it gets swept under the rug. And
Yeah.
then we hit you with therapeutic tools for healing. And that's that good old journaling and going to seek professional help.
All right. So when somebody trusts you enough to come to you, validate their emotional response
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Hear them out. Validate the way that they feel about it. That's the
Yes.
most important thing you can do. That
Right.
is the most important thing you to do. Asking them why now and all that's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. All right, y'all. So we know that was heavy, but we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. This is the season finale. I don't know if we mentioned that in the beginning, but we will be back. We'll be back sooner than
Mm-hmm.
later. But again, this is a mental health podcast, and we have to take care of our mental health too. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to take breaks every now and then because this is a lot. I'm not going to lie to y'all. This
Mm-hmm.
is a lot. It's a lot of commitment, and it's a lot that has to go on to make sure that we're dropping episodes every week. And we want to give you guys the best version of ourselves. And in order to do that, we got to take breaks sometimes. All right. Y'all already know it is Q&A time. Let's go. It's time for the Q&A. 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 All right. Daquan, what is the Q&A question for today?
All right. So today's Q&A comes from Trigger Trey from Indianapolis. What's going on, Trey? So Trey wants to know, how do you learn how to tell yourself no? Ooh. Mm.
That's kind of it
Mm.
all depends. I was just talking about my nutrition and my diet. Um it's real hard to tell myself no to some things.
Mm.
Dang, that's good because we always talking about how to tell other people no, but sometimes you gotta set boundaries with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Like,
I got it. Cause I do say this. I say, just because you can don't mean that you should.
say it again.
Just because you can don't mean that you should. Okay, look, let's just say okay, I had my Camry, my Toyota Camry since 2014 or 2015 for a long time. I just got a new vehicle in November. Was I able to purchase vehicles in other instances? Yes. But did I need to?
Mm.
No. So that's an example of just because you can don't mean that you should.
Mm.
Because why add another bill when you don't need to?
Okay.
Is this car broke down? Can you still make it to point A to B? And my Camry had over two has my son drives it now has over 200,000 miles on it. And the only thing that I had to do with that car was get new batteries and get oil changes.
Mm.
No, never had engine problems, never nothing. So why go get something new and create a new bill when it's unnecessary? So ask yourself that, Trey Sign, before you go ordering stuff on Amazon and wherever them boxes be coming from to the house. Do I really need this? Or is this something that I want? Is this something I can go without? Am I doing this just because I can and I got the money because you got your little job now and you got your little weekly check? You know what I'm saying? But should you be ordering these things and these devices, these electronic devices that you don't be thinking that I be seeing, but I be seeing them because I be looking?
Trey, I don't approve of this, but that's your mama. That's your mama, baby. That's your mama. But that's good. I like that
Because I
analogy.
can don't mean I should.
That analogy, because just because I can don't mean I should. Just because I can cop an attitude with a doctor don't mean I should. Just because I can give people attitude don't mean that I should. Just because I can choose not to work, decide not to go into work doesn't mean that I should. You have to tell yourself no on, I know I have to tell myself no on numerous of things. I'm a work in progress. The Lord is yet working. Again, I shout out to Darnisha for that. Just because you can, you shouldn't. You should.
All right. So thank you, Trey. Thank you for listening to your mom and sending me that question. I appreciate you. You always have really good questions that make us go.
Hmm.
So I appreciate that. All right, y'all. It's time for that affirmation and action of the day. What you got for us today, Daquan?
All right. So today's affirmation is going to be, I can dream bigger.
Hold on. I got to do my little 1 2 1 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So dramatic, and I love it. I can dream, I can work, and I can achieve. Then I can dream bigger, I can work harder, and I can achieve more.
All right. Yes. And you can. You can dream. You definitely
Dream who
can.
you want to be.
I'm always setting goals for myself.
Okay.
That gives me something to look forward to every day.
Listen, I need to
Cause
get like you.
you gotta give yourself something to look forward to in this day and age.
Yeah, you really do, because tomorrow's not promised.
Mm-mm.
So,
Not at all.
dream, work, achieve, then dream bigger, then work harder and achieve it.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for this round of Trigger Happy Hour, where we take shots of the truth with no chaser. Just raw conversations where the shots are sharp and the takes are sharper, and nothing gets off the table. If you like what you heard, hit that follow button, leave a review, and tell someone who can handle the heat. Pull up a bar stool next week for more real talk. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until then, stay bold, stay loud, and don't water it down. Cheers.